So now, no, 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 no. Okay. Hey, Glebe, how's it going? Let's see here. Go here and here and let me go share something here. And bring up here, bring up here. Pull up my information. Go here. An early save point today. Alright, so go to my live stream here. And we got that going. Alright, so there we go with that. And let me go here. Oh, hi, Meister. Glebe says, how am I doing? I'm doing okay. Less exhausted, but we got things to talk about. I'm just going to get things set up. Glebe says, I feel like Liv is up to something because she wouldn't come and help Dom without a reason unless she needed to. Well, like I said, she hasn't helped Dom since Survivor Series. Like, that's 7-8 months. I had someone try to say, well, what did Roxanne do? She didn't help Dom. I was like, she hit Finn with the hammer when Liv didn't hit Finn with the hammer, and Dom gave her the hammer to use. Like, it's like selective. Well, Roxanne hasn't done anything. Well, Roxanne ain't the girlfriend. I expect more from the girlfriend. And that's always what I've been saying. Like, if you're the girlfriend, you're the one that says, like, you know, you're supposed to be right and eye and all that, then you should be doing more. So, let me get this shared real quick. Because I haven't shared this. So, we got that. Alright, let me kind of get into, like, at least my main view, so no people's interest in that going. And, ooh, I might have to use that. I'll use that. Be inflammatory on the X. So, let's put that here. Okay, so that's that. That's that. Grab that. That. I am so disorganized. I am so sorry. And that. And that. And post it. And there we go. And Miss Diva on YouTube says, right, Liv just isn't cutting it. Well, someone told me how the Liv was on the hard camera the entire time of Dom's match on SmackDown. And I think that just really contributed to my exhaustion on Friday because it was just like she's always there. And it also brings up an interesting point that we don't see this with the other Judgment Day members. We don't see Roxanne and Raquel and JD always on the hard cam. Even when Finn wasn't there, they weren't always on hard camera. But that's what we had to see in Dom's match. And we had to deal with that throughout Dom's match because that's like his first match in a while after his Mega Championship defense against El Grande Americano Original. And we had to see that. It just gets to a point. Like it just being ultra annoying where I just can't rock with it anymore. Let's see here. Khalib, is that on Instagram? Because I haven't really seen that on the X unless I'm missing that. Hey, J Boy, you're always making me blush. Because I do know that Dom posted to his stories earlier. And that was him and Austin Theory. Cleve said, "Do you see Braun Breaker flirting with Liv on Friday?" I wasn't paying attention because, like I said, I was exhausted. I wouldn't be surprised. But dude has lost a lot of aura, Braun Breaker. He could barely lift up Damian Priest. And that was scary. Like, he was doing way too many botches. And I don't like calling out botches. Um, Maisha said, "Yeah, that's interesting because Roxanne wasn't there, but Dom look at her on Friday." I mean, I still say he's being very performative. Like, he's not affirming anything. He has to be almost pushed into, like, saying anything of, like, regarding Liv. And then even here, JD was sticking up for Roxanne by JD was saying no, Roxanne is insulting. Ooh, 850 Big Boy is here. What's good, everybody? Oh, 850 Big Boy. I'm glad you're here. Oh, I really wanted to thank you, 850 Big Boy, for that bot, that comment you had on my Monday Night Raw review, talking about how, you know, Liv made Liv was saying King and Queen of the Ring like in front of Roxanne where Roxanne had to hear it, and that really sent me on my latest video that gave me that German idea, and I want to thank you for that because I hadn't really thought of that angle. Like Liv was purposely saying, oh, we're going to be King and Queen of the Ring, and she was doing it like right there by Roxanne. Now she was saying it on SmackDown too, but that's what triggered off Raquel and JD. But here on Monday, she was saying that specifically in front of like Roxanne, and we got to see Roxanne's expression. Go back and watch Monday Night Raw, and you can watch my video too on that, the most recent one, because I'm not going to do a SmackDown one. I'm doing this live stream here, but go back and watch the previous video because that breaks it down. But 50 Big Boy, you really gave me an idea on that, and I want you to thank you on that because I had not considered Liv just kind of like rubbing King and Queen of the Ring in Roxanne's face. I had not considered it at the time. Miss Diva says on YouTube she is annoying. Period. I'm just waiting for Roxanne to turn on him. I'm not sure what it is with Liv right now, and I don't really want to. I'm not really wanting to hate on her because people always say I hate on her, but I'm getting forced into that annoyance. This is the same thing. It's getting into that point where I had with Rhea, where you're not initially against them, but the booking and the presentation and the storyline just kind of flips you that way because you don't want because it just comes ultra annoying or they're just doing stuff like here recently on SmackDown, like all of a sudden now you want to come out, like we hadn't seen you in months. Like you wouldn't come out there when Dom had his IC title defense against Penta. You didn't go out there when he was in his rematch. You didn't go out there when he was facing El Grande Americano, even though you set up that match because you were the one doing the talking. It wasn't Don. Don didn't talk himself into that match. So here, you haven't been here all this time, and then now all of a sudden you want to come out. And that's why I pointed it out. It's been 7 months, almost 7 to 8 months since Survivor Series. This was the first time she actually helped, and I will bet you diamonds and dollars that she will try to claim that she's the contributing factor for Dom winning, even though JD was the one that took that south of heaven. Like JD caused that interference so Damien can get distracted. But I bet she'll say that she was the one who helped Dom. Same thing that she did at Survivor Series, even though it was all of Judgment Day helping Dom with John Cena. You know, we had Raquel doing the Tejana Bomb. We had Roxanne doing the Pop Rocks. JD and Finn didn't do much, but they were still distracting John Cena. But, you know, just because Liv gets the winning blow, it's, you know, then it's like, oh, I did everything. No, you didn't. There's other people that did stuff. Even Dom himself. It's not like Dom wasn't doing anything in the ring. Let me get off this thing. So, let's go in here. And we're doing Star Ocean. So, we got that. We got that. So let's kind of go on and get a little bit started, even though I've already talked for a whole 10 minutes. So welcome. My name is Brandon Maven. I am the host of the WrestleVotes podcast. Cover all things Judgment Day. You know, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Roxanne, JD, no more Finn, no more Carlito, poor Carlito. But we are talking SmackDown, what happened on SmackDown. We're talking what's going to happen, what could happen on Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk about the Fightful WrestleVotes reports regarding Dom and Liv. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. This is my video to cover SmackDown because I was going to think about just doing another long form video for SmackDown, but I don't think I don't have the energy for it. So whatever I say might get rolled into my Monday Night Raw review on Tuesday. But I have to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it some more, but for both audiences, because I did talk about it on TikTok on Friday, but I want to talk about it on YouTube as well. So let's get in with what am I starting with? Of course, I am disorganized. Okay. So. Oh, yeah, and online discourse. So, let's talk about Liv and Dom because Liv helped Dom on SmackDown, but the question isn't that she helped, the question is, why now? And on SmackDown, it was the same night, same faction, two different tournament qualifiers, two very different levels of help. Raquel had her Queen of the Ring qualifier first. Liv guided Raquel to the entrance and stopped and then went to the back. So she didn't even walk Raquel out there. And the only person out there to help anybody was Julia. And we know why Julia was out there because of Kiana and what happened there. But ultimately, it ends up with Raquel winning her qualifier. She takes advantage of what happened with Kiana. And she took advantage of everybody and hit the Tejana Bomb on Kiana 1, 2, 3. And she won that on her own. Now notice how when Liv ain't there, most of the time, big sexy, big mommy cool Raquel wins her matches. So this is that another beat with Raquel saying, showing that she wins. She can win without Liv being out there to distract and just cause a distraction where Raquel has to protect her. And then Dom had his King of the Ring qualifier. And then here, this is where Liv went to ringside. And then we get all the Liv Dom bits. Now, I do say this is them having to show the audience, the casual fans, that Liv Dom exists. Because, like I said, if you don't watch it, if you don't know, you wouldn't know Liv Dom is a couple. And you wouldn't be having to do this if they had been reinforcing it all this time. They haven't. That's why I keep saying this is very, very performative on the WWE, at least on Liv Dom's part. The WWE is showing us they're a couple. And then we see, like I said, we see Dom win against Damian Priest because JD came in to distract Damian. He took a choke slam for a separate, but then Liv clipped Damian's leg, which allowed Dom to hit the 619 and the frog splash to pin Damian 1-2-3. So now Dom will be facing Oba Femi in the future, and this is important for what's coming up on Monday Night Raw tomorrow. But I do want to point out what commentary said during Raquel's match. During commentary during Raquel's match, Wade Barrett put out that all leaders or wannabe leaders of Judgment Day eventually get kicked out, and he named Finn, Rhea, and Damien. So they're putting that out on commentary again that the leaders or wannabe leaders of Judgment Day get kicked out. Also, Wade Barrett and Michael Cole also mentioned who Raquel could face if she was Queen of the Ring. Wade Barrett seems to think that Raquel would go after Rhea, but Michael Cole put it out there that she could go after Liv. So again, there's those little hints again, and those are the two most important things because that's commentary pretty much showing where the storyline is going. I also want to point out that, like I was saying in this whole lead-in, that we did have Liv like on hard camera all the time, and like I said, that's getting annoying because nobody else does that. You don't see Dom around ringside unless he has to be seen or they want him to be seen. Have y'all noticed that? Like, if Dom's out there at ringside, like during the whole like tag team match, did you see Dom like on hard camera all the time? No. Did you see like when all the other members of Judgment Day, like when they were on camera, you don't see them like always on camera too? So right there with Liv, it's getting to that annoying point because we Dom fans can't enjoy anything regarding Dom without Liv being there. And it's just bad enough like she's taking his feud, but everything else is getting wrapped in, and it's just very, very annoying. And I think that's probably why I was so exhausted on Friday. Like, it was to a point where I was almost saying like I wanted Dom to lose. Like, so serious. Like, and I don't want to feel like that as a Dom fan. Like, I should be wanting Dom to win. Like, I could think that he might not win. Like, I could see, like, booking wise, I'm like, oh, I don't know if he's going to win this one. But I should be rooting for Dom to win. But Friday, I was at that point where maybe he should just lose. And I don't want to feel that way. And I don't really like feeling that way. That's my favorite. He's my ride or die. I've been watching him since 2005. I watched him during the custody battle. I don't want to feel that way about Dom. This is like me feeling this way about Naomi. Like maybe getting to the point with Naomi where like, well, maybe she should lose after all what she's dealt with. I don't want to feel that way towards Dom. And I don't want to feel that way towards Naomi. Or any of these other wrestlers that are really my favorite. So it's just an exhaustion point with Liv. But I also have to go. But speaking of Liv, I have to also bring up that this is obviously that she's obviously doing this so she could be queen to Dom's king. Like she wants this king and queen of the ring thing, so she's gonna make it work. She wasn't out there when Dom was having his rematches. She wasn't out there when Dom was having his match to get into what was that? Was that Elimination Chamber? Like she wasn't there for that. She wasn't there for El Grande Americano's like the Mega Championship match. Like she wasn't there for any of that. But as soon as it's something that she wants, she comes out, and that's just blatantly obvious. And you can't say that this is just straight up like this is a booking thing. This is storyline related now, because Yeah, it's. I mean, booking wise, yeah, maybe they don't have anything really for Liv to do, and they're doing this now. But now you see the story ramping up towards Strowman's line for Judgment Day. Like she's doing this, and it's being presented like this because it's something that she wants. Because if they were doing Liv or Dom versus the World, Natural Born Killers, Bonnie and Clyde, Chucky and Tiffany, we would be having them together more often. Like, how come we couldn't have Liv and Dom in Italy last week? But no, Dom was sent home and then he got sent back, kind of like what Roxanne is doing right now. But if they really wanted to do Liv and Dom, if they really wanted to shore this up, they have had plenty of opportunities to shore this up, and they haven't. Everything has been very surface level. And the Liv Dom of this year is not the same as Liv Dom of 2024 and Liv Dom of 2025, early 2025. So we now have Liv doing all this for Dom just because she wants to be, a matching queen to Dom's king. And who's to say that if Dom loses or if she loses, will she be still interested in Dom's match? And that's going to be in my Monday Night Raw preview. Um, and of course she's playing lip service to Raquel. So like we have the stairwell like segment with Judgment Day. First she's talking about how Roxanne is sulking about the Queen of the Ring, and Roxanne had brought up some very good points to be sulking about it, and she just pretty much admits that JD was defending Roxanne here, and then when Raquel comes in, notice that JD and Dom are very happy for Raquel. Like we never see a moment with Dom that he's not happy. You know how you could kind of do a split here with Liv and Dom versus like JD, Raquel, and Roxanne, like just by maybe having Dom be more aloof or not as supportive, but Dom is pretty much stays supportive of Raquel. Like even when she was going up against Stephanie McCure, he was always very supportive of Raquel. Like there's different ways you can play like a Liv Dom versus the World split without it just being so uh to show them like being aloof or like fakey about it. Like look at like what Liv is doing. She's being fake about it. Hers is fake happiness for Raquel, where Dom comes across as more genuine. And then she was saying, okay, we could all be, you could be Queen of the Ring, I could be Queen of the Ring. And then here she comes with, oh, Dom and I could be King and Queen of the Ring. And then Raquel is like, wait, hold on. This is the second time she she has done this. She did this on Raw, and then she did it on SmackDown. And JD and Raquel are catching her on it. And then she always wants to quickly cover it up. Like, oh, we got to focus on Dom in this upcoming match. Like, she always has something to cover up what's going on. So, yeah. All SmackDown has proven is that Liv will do what Liv will help out long as it benefits her. Like she was helping out Raquel and Roxanne for the tag team, but she was only doing just enough to get them in like distracted, and then she would get herself ejected. Like she would even like commit to the bit of like going full force trying to get them those tag titles so they don't target her. She would only do just enough, be very performative about it until so it would just benefit her so everybody else would be distracted. So right now they're really just showing that everything is wrapped up around Liv, and this is what makes Liv the wannabe the leader of Judgment Day. But all in all, let me go back to some comments um on here. Maisha says, I definitely see Roxanne winning Money in the Bank. Well, she could. Hopefully. But right now, my priority is Raquel. Like, right now, I need Raquel to win Queen of the Ring. And right now, I need Raquel facing Liv because she has taken the hardest tumble. Roxanne can recover. Raquel always keeps taking these tumbles, and I really need her to be built back up. Cleve says she's probably not going to help him with Oba. Probably not. See, that's the thing. Like, um, depending on what happens, like if Liv loses, and I probably need to get into this later. Like if she loses that first round, will she come around to help Dom? Mine should say says yeah because I don't see him winning. Khalib says when he was facing Finn and Mania, she was not there. Yeah, that's it too. And I need people to really stop trying to do what about with as regards to Liv, because I really had people say like, well, how come what has Roxanne done for Dom? I'm like, she hit Finn with the timekeeper hammer. And they're like, well, that was mostly for JD. I'm like, no, Dom handed that hammer to Liv. Liv passed that hammer off to Roxanne. Roxanne is the one who hit Finn, not Liv. And then when I was talking about like people helping, like people were saying like, well, what has Dom done for Liv? And I'm like, I bring out the whole Jericho list that that Jericho did, like in WCW, and I said, he has translated for Liv for Stephanie. He has been hit by Stephanie twice. He has came back from injury and announced her as the 2026 Royal Rumble winner. He has given her a Valentine's Day date, and he has always done something for Liv, and this is just from Royal Rumble on, and I'm not even getting into what happened in 2025 and in 2024. Dom has done a lot more for Liv. If we're going to stack up all the actions of what's happened, Dom has done a lot more for Liv than Liv has done for Dom. Because you can even say that all of his title wins, Intercontinental, first time at WrestleMania, Mega Championship, his title defenses, all that from last year, he did that on his own or with collaboration with some other people like El Grande Americano. But it was Dom doing all that stuff. He didn't get any help. So, you can't, if you're going to weigh what Dom has done for Liv and what Liv has done for Dom, Dom's going to come out way on top. And even with Roxanne and Raquel, they've come out on top. Raquel and Roxanne have been in there with their mixed tags with Dom and have won and helped him out. Live tours, they be helping Dom out. Like, they're ahead of the game when it comes to Dom. So they need, this is one of those things like you need to be quiet. I got the receipts on this. You know, the very least thing that Liv could have done was hit Finn with the hammer when Dom gave her the hammer. That's the very thing that she could have done, and she didn't do it. And it stands to reason. There's a reason why we have shown, the WWE has shown us 3 times of Liv not doing anything when Finn was in the corner and Liv was behind him. They have shown that scene 3 times. Once it's an accident, 2 is a coincidence. 3 times is on purpose, and it's the exact same thing. And they could have been using any other photo in those promos to show like what was going on between Finn and JD and Dom. They keep showing that for a reason, and there was a reason why Roxanne is the one that was hitting the hammer. And you can't say that Roxanne, Liv is trying to get Roxanne to prove her worth, because why would she need to prove her worth? Dom wasn't surprised that Roxanne was out there when Finn was out, when he was out there with Finn versus JD. So why would Roxanne need to prove her worth? That's not a test. It's not like Liv said after the match was over, we're just testing you, Roxanne. No. And then also, Liv didn't say to Roxanne to stay in the clubhouse. So there's no reason for Liv to be surprised that Roxanne was even out there. Nobody told Roxanne that she couldn't go anywhere. So you shouldn't be surprised at it. The only reason why we were annoyed with Liv coming out, because she hasn't been coming out there. If Roxanne and Raquel hadn't come out with Dom, we wouldn't be surprised, because they don't really come out there. We know JD comes out there. Like JD, we expect. Liv, we haven't. Not over these last few months. Jadarius says, I'm leaving. Hey, Jadarius, I haven't seen you in a while. Cleve says she knows Dom is getting closer to Roxanne. And I think that's that signal that needs to come out more. Angel Baby shared the live. Thank you for that. Bella says on TikTok, if I can get my TikTok back, she probably won't have it if she loses because she only wanted him to win, but she did. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking will happen. Mine, she says, somebody's going to return, and that someone is So I know I don't see Liv coming out. Yeah. Um, over on YouTube, uh, A50 Big Boy says, "Oh, no problem. When I noticed they kept that shot on Rox while Liv was talking, I was like, yeah, they wanted us to see how Rox would react. Yeah, and it's not like an eye roll. We're going back to Roxanne's expression when Liv was saying to Dom, we could be king and queen of the ring, and you had Roxanne's expression there. It wasn't like an eye roll, it wasn't like an eye roll where of somebody not caring or somebody kind of being disgusted. You know how people kind of react when couples are getting all cutesy and you kind of do like the gagging or something like that. It wasn't that kind of an expression. Roxanne was pissed, and you can even say that maybe that ties into her losing, but still, she was pissed. You know, you could, and that's why I took it to being like this is just more of Liv rubbing Roxanne's nose in the dirt regarding it. And thank you, 850 Big Boy, for that. Miss Diva said the question is, are they going to put Dom and Rox together? Um, I say it's a chance. And when I say Dom rocks, it may not be as this romantic thing that they had with Rhea and Liv. That's why I keep telling people it may not be that kind of relationship. I keep thinking it's going to be more manipulative and darker because that brings out more of the darker side or darker part of Eddie Guerrero, where they could use that for Dom, so they could have that in his heel run. So whenever he turns face, you could use that to kind of start rehabilitating his character. See, like what they did with Chad Gable on SmackDown. He was apologizing to Ray Phoenix, on SmackDown. He came out and he was like, I faced you under false pretenses, yada yada yada. You can do something like that, and you can have that with Dom. Be like, hey, I went this way, I went all the way left, and you can kind of start rebuilding here, but you got to get Dom to that point where he's just like hits bottom as it relates to his heelness. So when it comes to Dom and Roxanne, I think I think it is going to happen. I think there is something there. I don't think we would be getting all these breadcrumbs, even more recent breadcrumbs, if it wasn't going to happen. And like I said, it's breadcrumbs right now. It's not a loaf yet, but it's a lot of breadcrumbs. And usually when they do a lot of breadcrumbs with the WWE, because like I say, Triple H ain't subtle, there's usually something there. Is there a possibility they could drop it? Yeah, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. But I do think there is going to be a Dom Rocks, but it's not. I don't think it's not. People keep thinking it's going to be this ultra cutesy, ultra romantic type thing, and I don't think it's going to be like that. Um, 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 um Miss Steven says Dom is growing on me. By the way, I mean, yeah, I think he does do that to people. 850 Big Boy says I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to bring it back involved in one of those loose ends. I hope now. I would not be surprised if they do Live for Brutality. I wouldn't be surprised. Because you could have Rhea be like, I told you so, and all that, and then they get Live for Brutality. Um, uh, Miss Diva said, Liv isn't helping Dom with Oba. Liv needed to look at what she is saying when she joined JD, she was saying that Rhea was being selfish, but it looks like it's her being selfish. Like, it's the chicken comes home to roost. It's a repeat of 2024. That's why I'm saying SummerSlam 2026 could be a massive callback to 2024. I would not put it past Triple H to do that. He can do a massive callback to 2024 just because of what happened. And they'll just spin it around again. Because you could present it where Liv was thinking that, Liv did this in 2024, but then Karma bites her in the ass, and then she gets this hit in 2026. Oh, Lone Rebel. Hey, Lone Rebel on YouTube. What's up, writer? How's your day going, my friend? Also, I feel like it's going to be Liv versus Raquel or Liv versus Io at SummerSlam, which I feel like Liv will win the Fatal 4-Way, but not her next match. I know there was the rumor that was Liv versus Io, but it shouldn't be. Io already had a match, or her title matches. If they want to run Liv versus Io, run that at Night of Champions to give Liv a challenger. That SummerSlam match needs to be Liv versus Raquel or Liv versus Roxanne, because I don't see Liv losing it if it's just Io. And that's why I'm saying, like, Io got to lose on, like, against Raquel, because there's no. Io's already had she's already had the championship. It's Raquel. They keep doing they keep doing the start stop booking with her, and I can't stand it because it reminds me of Naomi. They would do the exact same thing with Naomi. They would do a little bit with Naomi, and then they pull it back. This is what they do with Raquel. They do a little bit with Raquel, and they pull it back. And I get really, really tired that every time Raquel wins, all the discourse is like, oh, why did Raquel win? She didn't need that win. And then they always say, well, Triple H is always, that's Triple H's favorite. I'm like, bitch, do you see how he treats Liv and Rhea compared to Raquel? How is Raquel Triple H's favorite? Do you see any of the favorite booking with Raquel as it relates to, like, even like a Rhea or a Liv? Do you see Raquel over here with the main title? Do you see Raquel over here being able to bulldoze people like Rhea used to do? Even though she should be bulldozing people because she's stronger than Rhea. Like, I really hate this discourse that every time where Raquel gets a little bit of momentum, here comes all the people just crying about Raquel winning. Like she's been going on this win streak. Like, it's just a win. It's just really unfair to Raquel because she's the one that got forced back into this lack of position. They could have at least ran it like Zarya, where she had her feelings and how she had her feelings regarding Sol Ruka, and they could have did it like that. But Raquel can do that. She had to be over there looking like sticking out like a sore thumb during that Valentine's Day date. She had to look miserable. She's the one that has to come out and help Liv win. She's the one that has to go back and try to win a tag team championship. But Raquel is the one that's favorited by Triple H? Please. If she was favorited by Triple H, she would have been a mega. She'd win multiple titles, not the tag team titles by now. And I know she had her illness, but still, they would have found a way to get her a title if she was really getting that favor booking. But I said all that to say this. Just because Raquel wins does not mean that she's favorited by Triple H. And Io losing is not going to hurt her. In fact, she needs to go over there with Rhea. Like, start that one. They always want to say, let them start preparing for maybe Rhea getting her win against Io. Like, do something like that. But that was a whole diatribe. But I just don't really like how people just always get on Raquel's neck whenever she wins something. It's kind of the same thing with the discourse with Liv. Well, she's been the champ for 30 days and people crying about a challenger. I'm like, I'm just so tired of the discourse with Liv because we never got this discourse with Dom. Dom got maybe a half a day of discourse regarding his booking. And then it went quiet. It's only now, recently, that people are just getting really exhausted with Liv. Dom fans wise. But prior to that, there was no discourse. It was just me and a few other people that were just saying, talking about Dom's booking as relates to Liv and how everything got swallowed up by Liv. You know, anywho, Lone Rebel says it's not her next match against Charlotte or Lyra. We don't need Jade or Rhea again, or Charlotte versus Rhea. I feel like it's gonna be Liv versus Lyra in the semifinal but Liv lose to Lyra. Lyra's not in the Queen of the Ring. Lyra's gonna be facing Sol Ruka for the Intercontinental Championship tomorrow. But Lyra's not in the qualifier. E50 Big Boy said, it's definitely interesting what happens on Raw tomorrow if Rox is going to be involved in helping, or better yet, not helping Liv win. And in other words, Rox being the reason Liv loses. They can always do it accidentally on purpose. I wouldn't put it past them. Lone Robo says, as I have said, since Stephanie versus Liv Life Champions, where Liv wins her match, as in have Raquel win Queen of the Ring, but I have Liv retain the title afterwards, but have Judgment Day betray her. I mean, they could do that too. I still want Raquel to get that title though. Love Rebel said, as in after she celebrates it with Judgment Day, but have Roxanne and Raquel betray her while Dom and JD berate her and be the mean to her, while Raquel and Raquel keep attacking her for turning their face in the process. I always said that they need to do like maybe Roxanne turning on Liv, and everybody expects that, and then Liv is going crawling to Raquel, like she's going to his sister, thinking that her sister will help, and then Raquel turns on her. And then that proves the reverse Rey Mysterio with Dom. Rey has people turning on him because he would always take the other person's side, but here I would have Dom be the reverse Rey Mysterio, where people turn on their family and loved ones to go join him. And that's my running theory with Dom right now. I think they could pull that off. It'd be a reverse Rey Mysterio. So Rey has people that turn on him because he doesn't look after them, and then Dom will have people that will turn on their loved ones before Dom. And I am talking too much. Let me play some of this game. Why is my not gonna light just going off all of a sudden? Yeah, okay. Let me play some Star Ocean. And I'm gonna get back to the point where I need to be with them. Okay. Where was I on here? Oh, I didn't save it, so let me increase the wait, let me turn that up just a little bit more. Oh, I was in Alice Mansion. Okay, cool. It saved it there. I'll have to go all the way back. Okay, so I get a feeling that I probably should have upgraded my stuff, but I didn't. Okay, let's take down I turned down my frame rate. I think it might need to go down a little bit more. Alright, there we go. Okay, we did that. And of course, here comes the not gonna lie. Do you realize they were testing Roxanne's loyalty when she gave the hammer to hit Finn, right? How is that testing Roxanne's loyalty? Like, bruh. Why didn't Roxanne help Dom on Raw? Like, when has she? You know, this is that selective thing. Like, why did Roxanne help on Raw? She hasn't really. She does when she can. Liv hasn't been doing anything until recently. How come you can't say anything about why did Liv just finally show up after 7 months? These are strawman arguments. And I think people are trying to get around my blocks because I'm going to start blocking people. Yeah, like this one. Why do you block anyone that disagrees with you? Because I'm protecting my peace. How about that? And you're getting blocked too. Oh, I like this one. Roxanne go out to help Dom Friday. Okay, neither did Raquel. It was just JD and Liv out there. There were interactions with Priest and Raquel. Wasn't around at first, so it wouldn't make sense for them to be out either. Goodness. Like, see? Like, and actually, that actually makes sense. Like, JD and Liv makes sense to have the interaction than Raquel and Roxanne. But, you know, it's the straw man argument. Like, you know, like I said, how come Liv is all of a sudden now taking forever to go ahead and help Dom after 7 months? Hold on, I'm gonna go answer some questions because people want to try me today. But I got time. I got time on time. Just 1 second. Okay, let's go. Well, I figure out my response here. There we go. Here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yay, fried egg. Here, here, yeah, yeah, yeah. Here. Okay, there we go. Got that. Oop, that's one. And okay. Okay. Let's see, anything here? Nope.
There's got to be a hidden exit somewhere. There we go.
Let's see. What else is there? Ooh, I like that response. I'll take that one. Okay, let's go.
Where am I? I had no idea a tunnel like this exists under the mansion. Ah! There's someone on the ground! Bosman! Are you alright?
No! Raina! Why are you here?
That's what I was gonna ask you! Oh, you're hurt.
I'll be fine. But what are you doing here, Raina?
I was taken here by Alan. He was going on about a wedding in some kind of altar.
Making it really hard for me to not make fun of him.
I don't know how you're gonna be able to say that. That was just ridiculous. Okay, so let me go back over here. Um, before I go further with the game, let's see. Oh, man, she said Holbrook Hill Roxanne isn't has to be one of those two. And if it's anyone else, I'm done. Triple H, Jadaria says Raquel is at a level like Liv or Miami. Well, he doesn't book her at Miami, so I'm really annoyed that people always keep trying to say that she's getting like some preferential treatment or something every time she wins. Like it's not that. Masha said, and that's sad. Raquel pinned Liv before. Just book them right. Like Raquel doesn't need to start and stop booking. Like if they would just gone and give her a sustained push, then it would be a lot better for her. Um, Cleve says now they're bringing back the Liv and feud Raquel feud back after putting a pause on it. Yeah, this should have kept going after WrestleMania or like after World Rumble. It didn't need the pause. Like they could have built up the Stephanie feud with Raquel. Raquel could have won that title, and she could have won it for a little bit before dropping it to Liv. But they paused it, made Raquel look like an idiot, and then now they're reheating it again. Mike said, "Bro, Liv Dom fans, bro, they're annoying on the X." I had to mute a lot of them. So serious. Um, uh, uh, um, on YouTube, let's see. Oh, that's right, Laura. Just later said Lato's in a fatal four match against Jade, Charlotte, and Soul, which I hope is Soul or Iron win on the front. Oh, that bracket. I forgot. I completely forgot there was another bracket. So that's my bad. My bad. You're right about that. And Lone says, writer, I don't understand why people want to test you as them not knowing what you're talking about or them just playing stupid with you when they know better. Like this is why we can't have nice things. Go ahead. Like I just don't like it's just the strong man argument. Why wasn't Roxanne out there? Roxanne ain't the girlfriend. First and foremost. Liv is the ride or die. I'm gonna hold Liv to a higher standard. Like, why isn't Liv's ass ain't out there until recently? Like, y'all should be happy that she came out there. Y'all got your lived on moments, you got the nose rubs, look, whatever. But it took y'all 7 months to get it. Like, don't try me, man. And I'm gonna keep bringing up that timekeeper's hammer because Dom didn't pass that hammer off to Roxanne to test. He passed it to Liv. Why would Liv need to test Roxanne if Dom wasn't even surprised Roxanne was out there? You see what I mean? There was no point to test Roxanne if Dom himself wasn't surprised at her being out there. Even JD wasn't surprised she was out there. So, what test? It wasn't like Roxanne was told to stay in the back. Was she told to stay in the clubhouse? No. Did we hear anything later, like from Liv saying, "Oh, I was just testing Roxanne"? No. So it wasn't a test. It wasn't a loyalty test. You can't say it's a loyalty test if Liv herself hasn't said it. They didn't even put that on commentary, so it's not a loyalty test. Alright, I'm gonna go be messy again. not that. Not that. Not that. Let's see. Sorry, I'm doing replies because I'm salty right now. Okay, there we go. All right. I need to get to the rest of my talking points, but they got distracted. Let me. Lone Rebel says we saw. Oh, Lone Rebel said like people need to stop being mean to Raquel. People think that Raquel's really good as a wrestler, cause especially as a big woman working a big powerhouse side of a big wrestler as well. Yeah, like she's a powerhouse. Like she's the one scooping up and power slamming people and all that. Like I, a lot of the times it just feels like people are on her neck for no reason at all. And it's not fair to her. Like it's not like she's not like for people that always want to say it's booking for Liv. Well, it's booking for Raquel too. Rebel also says we did saw Damian and Dom have a brief reunion on SmackDown by working together against Braun Breaker, which tells you Liv was definitely going to be with the Lord Ripley and Priest with JD Betrayer. I mean, yeah, that could also happen too. I'm gonna put it past them. Somebody was saying like they could do Judgment Day versus Judgment Day, but we need more guys on Dom's side if that's gonna happen. What is this? Oh. Um. She said because Roxanne has helped him before, why are you so surprised? And he helped Roxanne and Max Tampa and they lost, they still help. Like, they have helped before. It's not like they haven't. So, and like I said, she used a hammer. That's my thing. Like, I'm going back to the hammer because that's something of Dom that she used against Finn. Like, Jacobs says, what do you think Brock will get involved with a Dom and Oba match next week's Raw? I mean, he probably is. Okay, let me finish out this part, and then I'm gonna get back into the next thing.
I see. Well, Alan had me build this bizarre room inside the Salva mines for him. Guess now I know what the altar's for, I'm afraid. Something's wrong with that boy. He's got this stone, and every time he looks at it, he cracks this smile that makes him look like a madman. I was frankly too scared to go on. But when I tried to escape, this happened to me. Reyna, if you're the one he's after, you better get out of here fast.
I can't just leave you here, Bosman.
I'll be all right. I'll leave the mansion once I've rested up a bit. But you don't have that kind of luxury, Reina.
But
This mansion is connected to the Salva mines on the inside. You might be able to find your way back to town through there. Now get moving.
Oh, cool. I'll save it here. Okay, so that's the save point. So let me go on and get back to what I was talking about. Okay, so go back here. Laura says, I would also like to see a Judgment Day War Games match, which would be amazing as an intergender War Games match between former current members of Judgment Day, but knowing the WWE and TKO, they wouldn't. Yeah, you would think you would get an intergender match, but I don't think that happens. What I was kind of hoping for, if we wanted to do like a Judgment Day related War Games, I kind of wanted Judgment Day to align temporarily with the Vision. Yeah, I know we always say the Vision is boring and Courage, yada yada yada, but I think that could work. You can have Dom be a temporary alliance with Austin Theory, they're bros. Same thing with Bronson Reed. Do a temporary alliance because they can't stand the Bloodline, because Bloodline is starting to throw their weight around, and that way they go to a head because the Vision and Judgment Day didn't really step on each other's toes. Like, yeah, they kind of fought up against each other for a little bit, but they weren't really like at each other's throats. They weren't beefing, but they come together to fight off the Bloodline because Roman Reigns is throwing his weight around. That's kind of what I want, because I think that would be really interesting. You could have Dom, you can have JD, you could have Theory, Bronson, Logan Paul, well, if he ever comes back, Bronson, Braun Breaker, you could put that as a pretty decent War Games team. And it's different from just being straight Bloodline versus Bloodline, because I'm getting really tired of it just being some kind of Bloodline lore match for War Games. So let it be something different. Let two factions come together to try and head off the Bloodline because they're tired of their shit, basically. So where was I? Oh. I already talked about that. Also talked about JD. Also about to take that. Oh, let's talk about the Fightful WrestleVotes report. This was like where people were assuming that, it's going to be, they can solve this by saying, just pulling Liv Dom out of the Judgment Day. Now, you're going to still have the same issues with Liv Dom being together, no matter where they pulled them at. That's why I keep, right now, Liv is the one that's getting the booking. Liv is the one that needs to get pulled. And with the Frightful report, it wasn't talking about them as a couple. It was just talking about their booking, like Liv's booking and Dom's booking. They were talking about separately. This was just a clickbait title here, but it just talks about the frustration. Take it with a huge grain of salt. Like I said, I don't really believe all the dirt sheet reports until it actually happens. So this may be true. This may not be true. You know. So just take it with a huge grain of salt. It was just talking about the frustrations, with Liv's booking and Dom's booking. But with Liv's booking, they could have solved that by now. So I don't, even with Stephanie being out, that's an issue that could have been solved because she already had the story. Dom's situation is worse. That's why I keep saying to people, Dom's situation is not the same as Liv's. And I had somebody really come and say, like, keep Dom away from the women's storylines. And I'm like, okay, well, keep Liv away from Dom's storyline. Nobody was crying about Liv taking Dom's feud with Finn, except for us. So why is it that we gotta sit here and take Dom's feud with Finn, but Dom's supposed to stay away from Liv's, the women's storylines? You see how that goes? Like, if Liv ain't involved with the men's storylines, then keep her away from Dom's stuff. And that's another reason why they should split. Other than just being annoying, and other than they have run this dry. There's no more meat on this bone. And I say that as somebody who thinks there was a lot of meat left with Rhea and Dom. That had some meat left. Right now, it ain't nothing on this Liv Dom bone. So, and that's my opinion on that. But yeah, so WrestleVotes Fightful, it wasn't about Liv Dom as a couple. It was about them individually. So don't. So when you see something like that, then don't fall for the clickbait titles on that. And I think that's almost kind of like more their opinion too with WrestleVotes. So it is what it is. And then online discourse. I talked about this a little bit. It's not. This is not about people hating Liv. This is about audience fatigue. And right now, it is some audience fatigue. The conversation is shifted. Right now the questions are like, why is Dom's presentation always routed through Liv? Why does Dom lose independence when Liv is involved? Why does Dom feel more confident outside of Liv's orbit? We've seen that. He was looking better last year when Liv wasn't around than this year. And why is Dom's story always absorbed into somebody else's? Like, that's kind of why I'm kind of glad they haven't ran this Rey Mysterio thing, because right now I would not be happy if Liv was around for this, because that should be Dom and Rey, and I am not having nobody else around that feud. And like I said, this ain't about Liv the performer. This is just more about the character and the storylines, and just how everything is just being really how everything being absorbed by Liv is just getting really, really exhausting. It's just exhausting. Like, you can't. It was just there all the time on the screen when she hasn't been. Did I just lose my thing? What the heck? Where did my thing go? Still broadcasting. What happened? So yeah, it's just an exhaustion. What do you mean I'm not getting enough video? I am paused, dude. Okay. TikTok says Jacob says the only way Dom wins is to be a DQ or count out, or Brock Lesnar returns. There's always that possibility. Lone Razor says, when it comes to the women's War Games match, I see it being Rocky, JC, Roxanne, Raquel versus Soul, Rhea, Io, Charlotte, or Stephanie and Liv. What are your thoughts? I mean, it sounds okay. They just need to have a story behind it. And there is a story there with Raquel and Roxanne, and with Liv there. So let's see. Gwendolyn says, hey, Gwendolyn. It says, I feel like they are setting the stage for Liv to lose everyone. Dom's not speaking up to defend her speaks volumes for me. It's that If that was my girl, I cared about to defend her immediately. Like, you would think Dom would be affirming what Liv says. He's not. Like, we've seen more with Andrea and El Grande Americano, and we've seen more with Adriana Grace and Stax in NXT, um, couple wise. Um, and they are more generic, not genuine. Now, I know those are real life couples, but the booking for them is more genuine. Here, you can see where Liv is saying all this stuff, but Dom's not affirming it. He's not saying, yeah, we're going to be king and queen. Y'all notice that he hasn't said that? Like, yeah, he said he's going to be king of the ring, but he's not going around saying, like, we're going to be king and queen of the ring. Have y'all noticed that? Dom hasn't said that. That's Liv saying king and queen of the ring. There's a difference. And that's why I keep saying what, and then you get the people that were just saying, like, JD and Raquel are getting tired of Liv and Dom. I'm like, no, they're getting tired of Liv. Liv is the one running her mouth. Liv running her mouth does not equal Liv and Dom running their mouths, because Dom isn't running his mouth. That's Liv. There's a difference. Um, 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 so, let's see. Okay, so we have Ron Paris tomorrow, and supposedly that is Liv's birthday. And she's gonna be in the qualifier against Becky Lynch, Chelsea Green, and who else was that? Alexa Bliss. Why do I keep forgetting Alexa Bliss? So that's gonna be her in the qualifier. And then we will have Oba Femi opening Raw, and that is important because that is Dawn's opponent in the next qualifier. So, so we so a birthday, the Queen of the Ring. This is a lot of loaded symbolism because a birthday can be used two ways. You can have it as a celebration, or coronation energy, or it can be a humiliation and a crack in the character. You could use it a lot of ways. If they want to implement birthdays here, you could just have Liv be like on her birthday kick, and you could really show the annoyance of Raquel and Roxanne. Maybe she tries to loop in Dom on that too. Since this is Paris, we can also get that secret. Like I keep saying, I think that secret is going to be coming out sooner rather than later. We still don't know what it is. Do I suspect it relates to what happened last year? I do think so, but we don't know. We can maybe starting to see some of that secret, or what that secret is about, come out, because I think Paris would be a really good way to do that, because Dom can get booed out the building in Paris, like that happened against him with AJ Styles last year. Um, and we do know that Roxanne is in Paris. We have seen her in Paris, so she's there. So she wasn't there on SmackDown, so she is in Paris. So we should have the whole Judgment Day troop in Paris tomorrow. So Roxanne is back. So there's a lot of different ways this can go down. I still do think this SummerSlam is still going to be a trigger, though. If they wanted to pull a semi trigger in Paris, I wouldn't put it past them, because you can do a semi soft pull here and then have the effects kind of roll down the hill until SummerSlam. So we have this match, and this is what I think can happen. And then we have Oba Femi. Now, this is what I think it can happen. So, we can have, with Oba Femi kicking off, we can have Dom finally have a promo. Now, putting Dom out there against Oba Femi allows, Dom to get booed, get a lot of his heat back. So, I could see him interrupting Oba's promo. I don't expect Brock Lesnar here. I expect him next week. But you could just do this to kind of set up their match for next week, and then you can do what I think could happen is just like Oba Femi chasing off Dom. And why would I have Oba Femi chase off Dom? To have him unavailable for Liv's match. So Oba Femi chases off Dom. Dom's unavailable for Liv's match. So then you have like maybe Liv's birthday celebration starting to fall apart. Like she was expecting Dom to be out there for her, but Dom's got chasing off. He's nowhere to be found, and she's got to rely on Raquel and Roxanne. Now, when it comes to her match, this can go a couple of different ways. We can have Stephanie return. If it does, hopefully that sets up the Night of Champions match, because that just needs to go on and get out the way. Let her go on and get that out the way. Let Liv win on her own, so she can say that she won on her own, and have a swelled head again, and yada yada yada. So you can have Stephanie win, or you can have Raquel and Roxanne accidentally cost her Liv on purpose, like do a Dom. Um, Maybe they get themselves ejected, like Liv got herself ejected those couple of weeks ago. You know, do things like that where Liv is on her own. She's depending on them to back her up, even though she hasn't been backing them up. So they end up getting themselves ejected, and then Liv loses. For the winner in this match, I really don't care. I kind of want Chelsea Green to get a fluke win because I like her. So if Chelsea wants to get like a fluke win here, then I think that would be fine. Um, so this could just be like something that can just make everything be like a really bad birthday for Liv. Like she thinks she comes in like she's gonna advance to the through the Queen of the Ring tournament, but it ends up with Dom being run off, and then Raquel and Roxanne costing her the title, or costing her the match, or Stephanie costing her the match, and it just makes for a bad birthday. And like I said, this is Paris, so you can also have some of that secret start to come out, where we start getting more hints about that. So that can happen. Now, with this happening, if Dom does get run off and he's not available for Liv's match and Liv loses, I do think this ties into his match with Oma Femi next week, where she doesn't show up, because now that she's not going to be Queen of the Ring, even through proxy, because she could still be a queen because she's still dating Dom, but maybe she wanted that physical crown. You know what I mean? So if she loses, then maybe she's upset, and then she doesn't come out for Dom's match. So that's how you see like the selfishness show up again, where Dom maybe now sees that, okay, you were out here when it was benefiting you, but now that you lost and you're not going to be Queen of the Ring with the crown, you don't come out here for me, or and you haven't been coming out here for me. You see what I mean? So maybe that can start setting up future storyline beats in that way. And Lone Rebel says as well, Jade versus Rhea, JC versus Charlotte, as well as Io versus Stephanie's history. The Judgment Day also Liv history with Rhea. Everyone would be on our team, but it's Liv can be trusted. Yeah, you can do that too. Like, can they coexist? Lone Rebel says also Liv's birthday is tomorrow, which I feel the Judgment Day could ruin Liv's birthday by causing her to match. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Like, I don't. It shouldn't be a happy birthday for her because she has gotten so much already. Like, at some point, the domino's gotta fall. It's gotta trip. Like, she's already gotten so much. She's already the champion. She's already caught. You know, she's already up here. Some of the dominoes need to stop falling for her. 850 Big Boy says, I was surprised at first not seeing Rox on SmackDown with Judgment Day, but after seeing Raquel and Dom in their fatal four-way matches, I can see why they would want to save her reaction if she has any for Monday. Like, she could be really happy for Dom and Raquel. Like, I don't think she would be, like, upset as much, because at least with Raquel won on her own. So she could probably still be happy. Maybe she's still upset that she didn't advance, but I don't think she would hold that against Dom and Raquel. Now, she probably will hold it against Liv if, like, Liv expects her to come out there to help her. So, 850. Oh yeah, I just said that. And then Lone Rebel says, "Do you see Aaliyah returning to the WWE tomorrow night on Raw as Raquel's former tag team championship partner? But she's a good friend of Liv, which she reunites with Liv after Roxanne and Raquel cost her. I don't know. Like, if the WWE want to pull her in, maybe. But I haven't seen anything signing to that effect. I mean, it might be something. Like I always said, like they could have pulled in La Catalina for Stephanie's friend. Like I thought they could do something like Stephanie brings in La Catalina as her friend, but just when they recruits her under Stephanie's nose to put like friend versus friend. That's kind of what I was thinking it could happen there. But with Aaliyah, I'm not sure. Khalif says Liv could come backstage upset that the group did not help her. Yeah, like she can. That's why I'm saying I'm hoping the birthday isn't as good for her. So yeah, 850 Big Boy says most both because Liv looks at Dom and Raquel as her favorites and the one she's closest to. Yeah. All right. So let me get back to this. Let me play this a little bit more, and then I'll close this out. Gwendolyn says, I keep saying people wanting Liv in AAA, but I've been telling people that's not happening because it would have already happened. Now the split is happening, so now it's not happening at all. Well, I keep saying that too. They've had months to put Liv in AAA. Months. And even when, and Dom's supposed to be showing up in AAA on the 20th, like this weekend. Like, he's supposed to be in AAA. He's supposed to be in Mexico. But at that time, you know what Liv is doing? She's got a live event. And what was her live event? I forget who. But she's got a live event match. So she's going to be finally wrestling on a live event scene. Like, the live event tour. So she won't be in Mexico. If she's doing that live event, she's not going to be in Mexico. So they keep wanting it, but I don't see that happening. Maybe it does. Maybe if she does pop up and maybe she cost Dom there. You know, maybe they use that to show like another part of selfishness, like she cost Dom there. But I don't see that happening because, like you said, they've had plenty of time to. They've had plenty of time to have Liv in AAA. She could have been over there eyeing Flammer's title. She could have been doing some of these mixed tags that they want so desperately. Like, they've had plenty of time to set that up, and they haven't. Bailey's been down there more. Oh, now my computer just needs to catch up. Okay.
You ready for this? Crash! Yeah! Yeah! Crash! Crash! Weaker than I thought.
Inkling. Let's see. Gwendolyn says, I really do feel we're getting Liv, Balor, Priest, and Bria versus Roxanne, Dom, JD, and Raquel. I just see it where this is going, especially with Bria and Liv interacting like they did. Yeah. Like, I can see that. I can see that happening. They could set up something cross, like, cross brand, interbrand, whatever you want to call it.
You ready for this? That was an easy win.
Ugly accessory? What is that? Is that a mandrake?
We better be careful. Weaker than I thought.
Okay, Von Rebel says, also Leah does have the history of Raquel and teaming up with her. I can see Raquel and Roxanne trying to recruit Leah into Judgment Day as the newest member, but have Liv be against that. Well, there is a little bit of war regarding recruits. Like, I'm waiting to see if Dom tries to recruit anybody, because anybody that goes against what Dom tries to do or tries to recruit gets kicked out. It happened with Rhea, it happened with Damien, it happened with Ben. So if we do get that, then that's another indicator, and that's like a. So if we do get that, we get that's like another indication.
You ready for this? Weaker than I thought.
Lone Rebel says, also, as I have Liv, I said no members in Judgment Day, but
We
good
better
Liv
be
gets
careful. It's finally over.
Beware Dragon. Oh, Ashton. Okay. I knew who that's for.
We better be careful. Weaker than I thought.
Oh, cool.
We better be careful. Yeah. Duh. Yeah. Tuh. That was an easy win.
Okay, Gwendolyn says people also don't realize that Liv and Dom can't stay together because they're already done everything. You split them from JD, it'll be the same stuff, stale stuff, and neither of them can grow on their own. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, what else can they do? It's not like they can be annoying together because they've already done that. You know, they've already been, you know, they're already pretty much a champions together. Like, there's nothing else to be done. The well is dry. That's why I was saying there's not a lot of meat on the bone. Meanwhile, there was a lot of meat left with Rhea and Dom. But here with Liv and Dom, it's not. You run into the same issues. And like I said, there's a 2-year window with kayfabe couples. Rhea and Dom's did not get extended, even though they had a lot of meat on the bone. And with Liv, that doesn't look like it's getting extended either, because even with the injury, maybe they would have considered having those be on their own last year, but even then I didn't see it happening because I called Finn being kicked last year and they finally kicked them this year. So we're at that 2-year mark, and that 2-year mark is at SummerSlam. And people are trying to put them as like a forever couple. Like, why would you want them as a forever couple? Like, there's more stuff that can be done apart. And see, if you keep them as a forever couple, you won't get the reunion in a few years. That's the thing with Rhea and Dom. Like, you're gonna get a reunion in a few years. Will it be romantic or not? We don't know. But, you know, wrestling is built on reunions and people coming back together, like the OG Judgment Day coming back together. That's a reunion, and that's something to be looking forward to in the future. Same thing with Rhea and Dom, and then it would be the same thing with Liv and Dom. You can have that as a reunion in the future. It's a callback. What is Liv talking about now? Oh, she's quoting the WWE. Here's something interesting. They're saying that Stephanie McCure is being advertised and featured for WWE Raw on the Monday, June 15th edition of Raw. So maybe she's coming back sooner rather than later. She can still show up to Paris. Like, this doesn't discount her showing up to Paris. She could still show up in Paris, cost Liv the match, and then show up on the following Monday to set up whatever they want to set up for Night of Champions. I would not put it past them. Like, these are subject to change. Take it with a grain of salt. But if she is scheduled to appear, and these are, then maybe we are going to get Stephanie versus Liv, and they just finally rolled that in, and they just needed Liv to have this extended little break until Stephanie was able to return. Maybe Stephanie finally got cleared, because last time I heard she wasn't cleared to wrestle. Whitland said, yeah, I've said SummerSlam when they point out 2 years ago Dom turned his back on Rhea for Liv. I can already see it on their anniversary that he backstabs her like Rhea. Yeah, it's like, it's perfect. That's a perfect callback. You know, Liv thinks she's safe until she's not. I wonder if I should just go. Do I want to talk about anything else? I already talked about Oba Femi. Oh, I'll leave this for the end. Let me go and see what this dude is doing. Because I already did this. Uh-oh.
What is this place?
Ah, my sweet bride. So wonderful of you to make it to our little wedding. Reina, my dear. You should know by now that you can't escape from me.
Alan, what is wrong with you? You weren't like this before.
No, I wasn't. I've changed. And I have the stone to thank for that.
Alan!
But that's a trifle matter not worth killing yourself over. Shall we begin the ceremony? Reina! That's close enough.
So you're Alan. Let Reina go. Do you have any idea what you're doing?
If you'll excuse me, sir, we are in the middle of a holy ceremony. In just a moment, we will be together as one. I would appreciate it if you would show some respect. Now then, my Reina.
No! Mr. Kenny, help me!
Stop it! This isn't anything holy. You can't force someone into marriage like this.
Force? I think you're a tad mistaken here. We are in love with each other. Love with each other. Love!
Alan?
Love with...
Oh no!
Mr. Kenny! Ah!
Damn it! Look out!
This looks a little rough.
This is bad.
This thing. Okay. Okay.
No!
No, I don't want to die.
No. Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Take this!
I can't lose it here.
No!
Okay. Got a little overwhelmed there, so let's do here. Okay, well that's locked. You don't know anything? Really? Okay. Let me... Okay, so Gwendolyn says, but her losing the title isn't enough. When she calls her way to Raquel and Roxanne, they'll basically beat her up and get major hate. The final shot will be Liv bailing and all alone. Like, that should happen. Hopefully. I can't take too much more of this.
This looks a little rough.
Don't let your guard down. Is this anyone hurt?
Good.
Whoa!
Crowd has a best sword.
Reina, are you all right?
Yeah.
What happened to this guy, Reina?
I don't know. Ever since he came to Arlia, it's like he was possessed by something.
But people don't just turn into this kind of monster. What's going on here?
Alan, you were such a good person, too.
Reina,
Why did this have to happen? Alan!
Let's see what's going on over here. Oh, duh. Let's see. TikTok next. Masha said, hope nobody help her. Regarding Liv, yeah. Cleve said, we're probably going to see more teasers for the Liv babyface turn. Yeah, I do think that. And Cleve said, is Liv going to walk into the building alone or with the group? Probably walk into the group and then mark her territory, pretty much.
he's still breathing.
Where am I? Huh? Reina, why are you here?
Alan! You're back!
What do you mean? Oh, my head's spinning. I feel like I've been stuck in a dream for days.
I guess that stone was what caused all this trouble. Once it's gone, that was enough to turn him back to normal.
I'm so happy for you.
Let's go back to the mansion. We can figure everything out over there.
I did all of that?
Yes, you did, I'm afraid. It was a terrible experience.
You want to go get some chicken, put it in a plate, microwave it?
Yeah.
And then cook some rice?
Yeah.
And then you and me can have the chicken and rice? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Go ahead. Go make it.
I can't remember a thing. You're telling me I had Bosman build that altar for me?
Yep, it was about 2 weeks ago that you sent me the order. Now that I think about it, that was around the time I started to notice you acting strangely. Like you were in your own little world or something.
It must have been that stone. Whatever power that stone's emitting was enough to mentally transform you.
I think you're right about that. The first time I saw that stone, it was like something swelled up inside my head. I felt like I could literally, I was right, and everyone else was to do my bidding. I don't remember much after that, but I don't think I'll ever be able to forget what it felt like at that single moment.
Let's see. Gwendolyn says, also notice that everyone is getting upset. It's directed at Liv, not Dom. Not Liv Dom, it's Liv. They're fed up with her, not Dom. It's also important in these segments. Yeah, that's why I keep saying, like, Liv running her mouth does not equal Liv Dom running her mouth, because Liv is the one that's talking all the crap. But you're right on that, Gwendolyn. Yeah, it's Liv that's doing it. It's not, like I said, you would think if Liv and Don were together on this, you would be having like, yeah, we're going to be king and queen of the ring. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. But it hasn't been like that. It's just Liv been saying that, you know.
Alan.
Raina, I'm sorry. I know I was unconscious during that time, but I feel terrible for doing those things to you.
Don't feel bad, Alan. Besides, you're back to normal, and I know the real Alan would never do anything like that.
Still hot or still cold?
Thank you.
That one is 1 minute. 1 minute. 6-0. Okay, for 1 minute. See, baby.
We better hurry back to Arlia. Your mom's worried about you, Raina.
Yeah.
I need to go explain what happened to everyone in Salva. Hopefully they'll be understanding.
Raina!
Well, looks like we owe you our thanks once again. You saved Raina's life not once, but twice now.
Gwendolyn says, yeah, like I said, if that was my girl and I cared, I would immediately be saying things like, she's so really happy, she's a champ, she didn't mean it that way. Dom doesn't do that. No, he doesn't really, try to excuse her actions either. That's a really good point.
Oh, no. I hardly did anything worth thanking me for.
So is that what started this whole little episode? That little stone he found in the Salva mines?
That's the only explanation I can think of. When the stone shattered, Alan snapped back to normal.
First you go mad, then you transform into a monster. That stone almost reminds me of the sorcery globe.
Yes, it does seem to be that way. Perhaps the two are related somehow.
The sorcery globe.
That's just something that popped into my mind anyway.
It sounds like the town of Salva is in an uproar right now. As if Alan didn't cause enough chaos, rumors about the hero have made it over there as well.
I'm sorry. I know you had warned me about that.
Do not take that as a criticism. It was unavoidable with your mind focused upon saving Raina's life. Still, the story has spread too far now. Hiding it any longer will prove to be very impractical.
I see.
Would you mind investigating the sorcery globe for us, Mr. Kenny? I know this is an awfully selfish request, but frankly, I cannot think of anyone more fitting for the task. I as well believe Alan's fit of madness has something to do with the sorcery globe. If you could save him, then perhaps you could do yet more.
Let's see. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Let's see. What is this thing right here? Okay, both Liv and Dom loses what's next for Liv. Liv needs help for anything. It might show right, and before getting the group, she did putting for herself. Cleve says Liv keeps putting too much pressure on Dom to win. He's probably not going to win. Mason said that's why I can see her being betrayed. Yeah, I mean, hopefully she loses. Like, I can even see her advancing, but that's just gonna be annoying. Like, something just needs to happen where it doesn't go in her favor. For once.
You will?
But first, let me just remind you that I'm not the hero. Saving the world is just way beyond me, I'm afraid. But I think the sorcery globe might provide some useful information for my own personal reasons. If I can help everyone else in the process, then I figure it'd be worthwhile, you know?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenny. We will help you out as best we can.
Thank you, but I'm not making any promises.
Could you take me with you, Mr. Kenny?
Reina?
You heard what the mayor just said. I want to help out as best I can.
But Reina, it's going to be dangerous.
I fully understand that, but I just know I will be of some help to you along the way. You don't know very much about this land, do you, Mr. Kenny? So you're gonna need some kind of guide in your travels. I could at least provide you with that, right?
I suppose so, yes, but... Come on, Mayor. Help me out here.
That's right, Mr. Kenny. Why don't you take her along if that's what she wants?
Mayor.
I'm sure she'll be a tremendous asset on the road. Please, think it over, son.
Okay, I got it. But get your mom's permission first, Reina. I'm not gonna let you come with me unless she gives the green light.
Yeah, I know.
In that case, you should probably head for Cross first. That's a pretty large...
Oop, you want to cut that off.
Take care on your way home, Reina. It's starting to get chilly, so don't catch cold now.
Oh, I'll be all right. My house is right over there, you know. I'm not being a burden on you, am I? I know I kind of forced you into this.
No, of course not.
Listen,
Yes?
Oh, Reina, are you still here? I thought you'd be back home by now.
Have a good night.
Ah, welcome back, Reina.
Hi, Mom.
Okay, so let's finish this up. So we got Monday Night Raw tomorrow. We will have to see what goes on. A lot of things can go on. We could get the secret. We could have Liv winning, Liv losing, Roxanne and Raquel costing her, not helping her, maybe even helping her. I'm not sure. But one thing I do hope for, regardless of what happens with Liv, is that we do get some Dom promo time. He's only been doing things on the international, like commercial breaks. So hopefully we do get like some promo time. And if it was Oba, that's fine, you know. Let Dom talk his shit, and then let Oba, like, chase him away or something like that. I wouldn't mind that. That would be just nice little interaction to set up for their match whenever they have that. And I think that might be week after this coming, like, next week. Yeah. So, yeah, I will be on tomorrow and video on Tuesday. Um, so hopefully we get something interesting. Hopefully we get storyline advancement because the storyline needs to go and not stall. So hopefully now that we're getting on the road to SummerSlam and on the Night of Champions, things start advancing. Um, but anywho, I'm going to end it here. I already got through a lot of the Star Ocean more than I thought, and my system's running smoother. But until next time, people, I thank y'all for joining me. I'm going to end it here. And I have not checked on my weather drill. Oh, nothing there. So, yep, I think that is it for now. I will see y'all guys on Monday, Tuesday. If anything does happen, we will have to see. If it's major, then I'll do another multi-stream. Like, and I'm talking major, like we get the biggest lore drop we have ever seen, or something like that. That'll be a multi-stream. But if not, I'll be on TikTok. But until next time, I will bid y'all all adieu. Thanks for joining me. Thank y'all for joining me today. It's a little bit early, so hopefully y'all get some rest. Cleve says Liv 20 to WWE and not going to win. I mean, yeah, she's being selective again. Celia says, what is the biggest secret? Like, to me, the secret would have to be what happened last year. Like, that fully gets exposed, because we never know what happened between Dom and Roxanne. That's the secret. If that comes out, that's a secret. If we get anything else that comes out, that's a secret. So that's what I'm expecting, because Liv said no more secrets, so, her saying that just pretty much started the clock. Like, there's something going to come out. We just don't know what. But, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna bid y'all all adieu.